Hi everyone. With Parliament now quietening down, it allows me time to reflect on the first 12 months of this term of Parliament as an elected MP for the Animal Justice Party. It was a tremendous honour to be elected as a voice for animals in Victoria. And even after this first 12 months, it feels somewhat surreal. We've achieved a lot, and I wanted to take this opportunity just to run through some of the things that we've managed to get done this year. But before I start that, I just want to let you know that this is just the start. I look forward to working really hard over the next 3 years to make sure we get a lot more done. I have a tremendous team working with me, and they're the reason that I'm here, as well as you. So I've got this list, and I just wanted to run through it for you. So we were able to achieve, through the budget, to get $500,000 for Wildlife Victoria. The next step is to get it as what we call a line item in the next budget, and the budget after that, and the budget after that. So this funding is ongoing, so that the wildlife in distress in Victoria can know that there are people out there with the resources to help them. We also managed to get red kangaroos off the disastrous kangaroo management plan. Now, I would have liked to have been able to have this kangaroo management plan, this industry for pet food in Victoria, completely shut down. And indeed, the government's own report of the trial was completely damning. And I'm completely perplexed as to why they insisted on going ahead with an industry. But the red kangaroos in particular were in such low numbers that the government data suggested that had they gone ahead with them in this industry, then they would have been wiped out in Victoria. Partially successful, but nowhere near as successful as we would want. We also introduced and passed laws for companion animals to be considered in guardianship arrangements. This is something unique to Victoria now. It means that the lives of non-human animals that have been an important part of people who become subject to guardianship laws and orders instigated by the courts or by VCAT will now have to be taken into account. The lives of those animals mean something. Prior to this, the guardians could simply take those healthy animals, those wonderful animals that have been companions to these people, and arbitrarily take them and have them put down. No longer. One of the biggest things that we got across the line, and I'm extremely proud of, was an ag-gag bill brought by another member of the Legislative Council. This was no mean feat. It had a lot of support, both on the crossbench and in the opposition. And I fought hard and lobbied the government and lobbied the other members of the crossbench to make sure we had the numbers to defeat it. We pushed for improvements to the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act regulations, which included the banning of cruel fruit bat netting, pain relief for mulesing, restrictions around dogs in hot cars, and the sale of glue traps. Next year, the government will completely review the Act, which I will follow closely, because there are an enormous amount of improvements that can be made to the POCTA regulations, to the POCTA Act. There are things, obviously, that are in the animal agriculture sector that the bulk of the community considers to be cruelty, and they should be taken out of codes of practices and moved into POCTA. I look forward to fighting hard for those. I was also elected to the Vic Health Board, and through this work have been able to advocate for the benefit of plant-based diets. We look forward to more work being done in this area in the new year. I introduced a bill to ban duck shooting in Victoria. That's at a bit of a standstill at the moment, while the government considers its position. Historically, though, it's worth noting that there is an enormous amount of support within the government for banning recreational duck shooting in Victoria. And this was evidenced at their own state conference we're an urgency motion to review whether their current policy setting sits outside of or is completely at odds with their own animal welfare management plan. Anyone with an ounce of a brain would have to think that it does not. I also won my debate in Parliament calling for a fur task force to investigate illegal labelling of fur products. After I revealed products made of raccoon dog are being sold as faux or fake fur at Melbourne markets, and we, my team, we believe that this is far more widespread than people might believe. We believe this spreads into the smaller shops, the strip shops, and perhaps even some of our larger retailers are being fooled about what they believe is selling as labelled as fake fur. Look, we've been working with the task force already, and we look forward to some results of this coming through in the new year. The aim, of course, is to make sure that there is a ban on the sale of all new fur products in Victoria. We can't stop the importation of them. That's a federally controlled thing. We can certainly stop the sale in this state. A couple of the other things that you might not be aware of that are campaigned for and were able to get over the line was $5 million for the Northern Grampian Shire to complete their underground particle physics lab, their dark matter lab. There are only going to be 2 of these in the world. One is in Italy, and now this completed one will be in the Northern Grampian Shire in Victoria. This will mean that important scientific experiments will be able to be conducted. It'll also mean jobs and a boost to rural economies. I was also able to successfully lobby the Environment Minister to have the toxic waste dump that had gotten so far out of control that it was a danger to human life, to the environment, and to non-human animals, both domestic and native, in the township of Lara, Broderick's Road. I was able to successfully lobby the Environment Minister to shut that down, to have the EPA step in and clean it up, after the owner had abandoned it, walking away with tens of millions of dollars profit. I also lobbied hard and voted in favour of birth certificate reform. To some, they may be confused by this. What is this? Birth certificate reform was brought in so that people who identify as non-binary or transgender can now alter their birth certificate to reflect who they are. This means that they can go to a doctor and present as who they are. They can get a driver's license, a passport, travel without continually being questioned, pulled aside, and asked why the name on that document doesn't reflect as the person presented before them. This might not seem much to some people, but for members of that community, it means the world. They've been campaigning for this for over 30 years. I was very proud to have voted and spoken in favour of that. I myself am the father in a rainbow family. I have a gay son and a transgender child as well. So this was very important to me personally, because through them, I know the pain that that community has gone through over the years. So, in closing, I may be the elected MP, but I am only the person who gets to stand in Parliament and make those speeches. Certainly, I do a lot of work behind the scenes. I meet with ministers all the time and their staff. And they're the people that I want to bring up right now, my staff. I have an incredible team of people working with me. If not for them, I would certainly not be able to do everything that we've been able to get done. They are amazing. And I want to wish them all the best for this holiday season. I want them to make sure that they take some time off. They deserve a break. They've worked extremely hard. I want them to spend that time relaxing, getting back in touch with their fur kids and spending it with their family. I thank them an enormous amount. There's nothing in the world that could repay them for what they've done. But I also want to thank you, the people who voted for us at the last election. We are also only there because of you. The volunteers who helped on the booths on the day to hand out how-to-vote cards, the people who've campaigned for us on different campaigns, all of them, all of you stand behind us. We are the largest team. It's an entire group effort. I thank you all, and I look forward to achieving more over the next 3 years. Thanks.